A very good morning to all the students of class 11th political science. Students, welcome back to the online classes here. As we are doing the second part of your political science, and the second part name is political theory, and we are into the fifth chapter of this book, and the fifth chapter is we were studying about rights. So if we are talk about this chapter, we have started again after your winter break, and we have covered five parts of this chapter. To remind you and to take a quick revision in terms of the topics, I would just remind you that we have covered the introduction of rights, about basic things I told you about rights in the very first video. Then in detail we had discussed this moral value of right, in which we understood what are rights. Then after that we had done where do rights come from. So, and in the previous videos we have done kinds of rights, in which we have done political rights, economic rights, and cultural rights. So we had seen why they are so significant and so important for each and every citizen. And the important topic which we have covered in the last video is rights and responsibilities. This was one of the most important topic of this chapter, where as a citizen of India we had tried to understand that of course we are getting some fundamental rights, and we fight for our rights, we claim for those rights if we don't get them. If someone violates those rights, we have the right to move to the courts. Okay, but along with those rights we also have certain responsibilities, as whenever we will get some powers, along with that power there comes many responsibilities. So any power which is given to any person, you will always be getting certain important responsibilities. So we had tried to understand that what is the relation between rights and responsibilities. So with that we had covered almost all the important topics of this chapter, as according to the new revised syllabus by the CBSE. But today this is the last part of this chapter, that is chapter number 5. This is the part number 6, and today we shall be discussing about human rights. So first of all, when we are talking about Universal Declaration of Human Rights, let's understand a simple term. What do you understand by human rights? Although you have studied it many times in the junior classes, it is the part of your civics in class ninth also. And basically you know what do we mean by human rights. These are the rights which are given to each and every citizen by birth. It is inherent. No one can take these rights from any living being or any human being which is born on this earth. So as we are born, we are given certain important basic needs as a human to survive peacefully on earth. So that is called human rights. But with modern period and change in time and situation, there have been many disturbance in the human progress, human structure, living style, or the livelihood of the people, for which there was a requirement to form certain law and order to protect the basic rights of the people, which are called human rights. So we are not today going to discuss about the Human Right Commission, etc., but we are going to talk about a particular declaration which was made by the in the United Nations. So we are going to discuss that. Okay, so I'm starting this. This is a box actually in your book on the last page of this chapter. So you can see here, this is important. On 10th December 1948, that is next to our independence. Our country got independence in 1947, and here we are talking about 1947, and here we are talking about 1948, but 10th December. The General Assembly, this is an organ or a body of the United Nations. You know, this is United Nation organization. This is the international organization which is responsible and take cares to maintain the peace and decorum around the world, to solve out the conflicts and disputes between various countries around the world. So there are various organs and bodies which are working for United Nations around the world to maintain peace and decorum. So on 10th December 1948, the General Assembly of the United Nations adopted and proclaimed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So in this, a particular document or we can say a document was proclaimed and adopted by Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This was the name of the document, Universal Declaration of Human Right. That human right, there was a document made, a bill was passed, that there will be a proper scenario for the functioning of human rights. Following this historic act of assembly called upon all member countries. So on this historic act of the assembly, the historic decision made by this general assembly, all the member countries, all the members of this general assembly, all the countries were called upon in the meeting, and they were given instructions, basically, to publicize the text of declaration, to publicize, okay, phelana, it means to cause it to be disseminated, displayed, read and expounded. It should be read, explained to each and everybody, and basically principally in the schools, so that every citizen, every child should have the clear understanding of the practice of human rights, and what do we understand by Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So it was made available to all the citizens, basically in the schools and other educational institutions, without distinctions based on the political status of countries and territories. There was no distinctions, no differences made on the political status, whatever type of a country, whatever the political system was followed in that particular country, but clear instructions were given to all the member countries to principally start this education at the school level and other educational institutions. So now here the term preamble you can see. So you must be knowing this term preamble. Our introductory part to any document is called the preamble. It's like a window from where we can peep in to a particular document and understand what is all about. Like our constitution has a preamble, so in that preamble you will find all the important political phenomena, freedom, justice, etc. So you will come to know what type of a country we have. We have a democratic country, we have democracy, so everything you can read in the preamble. In the same way, if we talk about this document, that is Universal Declaration on Human Rights, there is a preamble or the introductory part to this document, which is called preamble. If you talk about this book, the contents of your book can also be called as the preamble of this book, from where this you can read the contents and you can make out what are the topics which you have to study in this book. So let's see the what was the preamble of this document. Whereas recognition of the inherent dignity and of the equal and inalienable rights of all members of the human family is the foundation of freedom, justice, and peace in the world. They are saying if we want freedom, justice, peace in the world, if we are talking about the human rights which should be given to each and every citizen around the world, here we are not talking about a particular country, we are talking about the world, because United Nations is an organization which is working for the whole world. So if we want freedom, justice, and peace in the world, the foundation should be here dignity and equal and inalienable rights. So everyone should be treated. Dignity means self-respect. Everyone should be given respect. Everyone should be treated equally, and some basic rights should be given to each and every member. Okay, so that we can lay the foundation to these. If you want freedom, justice, peace in the world, we should focus on dignity, equal rights, and inalienable rights. Whereas disregard and contempt of human rights have resulted in the barbarous acts which have outragged and conscience of mankind, and the advent of the world in which human beings shall enjoy freedom of speech and belief and freedom from fear and want, and has been proclaimed as the highest aspiration of the common people. So if around the world we have seen recently, the highest aspiration, desires and dreams of the people are that they should be getting an environment which is where they can get freedom of speech, belief, freedom of from fear. They should not have any fear. They should get whatever they want for their survival, for their livelihood. They should have all the opportunities to grow. They should be treated equally. There should be no discrimination on the basis of caste, color, language, creed, etc. So human rights looks all into this matter, where a proper equivalent platform should be given to each and every person around the world, not only a single country but around the world. Whereas it is essential, if man is not to be compelled to have recourse as a last resort to rebellion against tyranny and oppression, that human rights should be protected by the rule of law. Here they are saying there are many I would say, things going on in the society, evil practices going in the society which are against the human laws or the human rights. There are a lot of violations going on of the human rights around the world. So there should be a proper rule of law from this human rights universal declaration, which should be implemented in all the countries. It means a common law, a universal law should be there to protect the human rights around the world. That is why we find a commission which name is human national human rights commission also. Okay. And human rights commission for United Nations also. In our country also we will find a human rights commission. Whereas it is essential to promote the development of friendly relations between nations. Although it also becomes important by promoting rule of law and universal declaration of human rights, we should also have a friendly environment where we can grow and develop all together, having the friendly relations with our neighboring nations especially. Whereas the people of the United Nations have in the Charter reaffirmed that faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of a human person, and in the equal rights of men and women. So here they are talking about the gender discrimination. Equal, if you are talking about the human rights, it means every human is equal. We cannot discriminate a person based on their gender as well. So there should be equality on the base between men and women, and have determined to promote social progress and better standards of life in large freedom. So we are talking about social progress, better standards of life in a large and in large freedom. So all this would be possible if this document, that is Universal Declaration of Human Rights, is implemented evenly throughout the world. So all the countries would have to put the effort all together to implement this type of charter in the own countries. Whereas a common understanding of these rights and freedom is of the greatest importance of the full realization of the pledge. It's a pledge. Let's see this. Now, therefore, the General Assembly proclaims this Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So now, if we talk about the General Assembly who have proclaimed this Universal Declaration Human Act, this document has been uh, uh, brought up in the General Assembly of the United Nations. So they say that as a common standard of achievement of all peoples and all nations. So it is possible if efforts are made by all people of all nations, to the end that every individual and every organ of the society, so every individual and every organ of the society, keeping this declaration constantly in mind. So every person should have this declaration in their mind, and this can be done through education properly, shall strive by teaching and education to promote respect for these rights and freedoms, and by progressive measures national and international to secure their universal and effective. So they are using that its impact should be universal equally in all the countries, in every organ of the country, every citizen, every individual should have this understanding of this document, so that both among the peoples of member states and themselves, and among the peoples of territories under their jurisdiction. So they are talking about the every individual in the territories of particular countries should have understanding of this declaration of human rights equally in all the countries. So this was just a box in relation to the human rights of this chapter, and this was the last part of this chapter. As we have covered so far, to show you, we had started with this topic, rights. This was the introduction part we had covered. Then we had taken the this, what are rights, in detail. Then we had done where do rights come from. Where do rights come from? We had done. Then we had done kinds of rights, in which we had studied political rights, economic rights, and cultural rights, equally important. And in the last video we had done rights and responsibilities. This was the important topic we had covered, and this was the last topic today which we have covered as the sixth part of this chapter. Okay, so with this we come to the end of this chapter, and this citizenship, this chapter has been deleted from its syllabus. So the last chapter we shall be starting, and its development. So let me show you the content of this book for this year. Chapter this political theory and introduction you have done, freedom we have done, equality we have done, social justice we have done. This was liberty, actually its name is now liberty, and today we have completed its rights. Now this has been removed, this has nationalism has been removed, secularism has been removed, peace has been removed. Only we have to do this chapter now, development, which we shall be starting from the next video. Till then, thank you.